cold are you? I'm freezing. We are on a Chicago Lincoln Park ghost hunt tour. That's where we're walking right now, right, Chris?
Yeah, my lips are so
Everybody's here. Say hi.
I think it's a little bunny thing.
Aww.
That's the mausoleum over there.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
I spiked.
Couch.
Yep, I spiked right here.
Right there?
It went whoop, and then nothing.
Can I just turn my phone on airplane mode?
Oh, I should do that.
Yeah, that's probably. This 50 tons is how much this weighs. There's other plaques all around it talking about this. They just actually redid this last summer. This is all new. But this is the couch tomb behind me. It's the only thing remaining, at least visible above ground, that we can still see with our eyes, left over from city cemetery days. There's obviously stuff below ground, but this is all that's above ground. In the winter of the year 1857, while this man was on vacation in Cuba, a wealthy businessman from here in Chicago named Ira Couch died. Imagine going on your vacation and dying. That's what happened to Ira Couch. Him and his brother James owned one of the nicest hotels in the city at the time. It was called the Tremont House Hotel. It sat in the theater district of Chicago, right on the corner of Lake and Dearborn Streets. That is still the theater district today. Their hotel was a favorite hotel for Abraham Lincoln to stay in whenever Abe was in Chicago. Actually, Abraham Lincoln gives a version of his Emancipation Proclamation speech from the balcony of this family's hotel. After Ira dies, his body is brought back here for his wake and funeral. It's then held in a temporary holding vault here in City Cemetery until this could be built. His brother James has this built 1 year later, in 1858, at a cost of $7,000. Which, that's a lot of money in 1858. Yeah. That's equal to about $200,000 today. So you can see this family had some money. They were actually building houses in the city for less than they built this thing at the time frame. This is supposed to hold about 14 bodies, but we have a lot of mystery surrounding this mausoleum to this day. The number one mystery is, why is it still here? We really have no clue why it was left here. They never really stated that anywhere. That is one of 6 public structures in the fire burn zone that survived the Great Chicago Fire. Could be one reason why it's left here. Estimates in the 1890s that this was going to cost about $3,000 to move, and maybe it was cheaper to keep it here. Couch family was kind of a prominent family at the time. Maybe they didn't want it moved, keep them happy, they leave it here. Maybe they just simply left it here to remind future generations what the land was once used for. Could be all of those reasons, but we really don't know. The other great mystery is we have no clue if anything is inside it. I have not. It has not been open, at least anywhere we can find, like on public record, since about the year 1901. Over 100 years.
How come nobody's tried opening it?
No clue. I think people have tried, but been in it? No. There was some newspaper articles back then that the park opened it. They were doing some work around it. A guy who worked in the park went inside here. That guy, when he went inside there, claimed he saw nothing in there, that it was empty. But when Ira Couch's grandson saw those articles in the newspaper, the grandson comes back and says, no, the guy's wrong. The grandson names about 7 bodies that should be buried inside here, including Ira Couch, Ira's wife, Ira's 2 parents, 2 of Ira's brothers that died young, and the 7th person was some unknown woman who died in their Tremont House Hotel, and they stuck her here. But yeah, if that doesn't sound mysterious enough, and it is random, very random, but yes, it says an unknown woman.
Family and some lady.
Some lady.
Are you guys feeling anything?
I feel so fly. feeling so fly like a cheesehead. Like a
8 horses. No spikes or anything.
I got
My
spiked
only
by this light.
and the only spike I got was over there. But on like when I was walking up over here, like, I got one spike. That was about it. It's a neat little area though.
Yeah, it's interesting. Do you have the Ovilus out?
Indicate beast. God, what did it say? Perhaps excel. Hidden.
Hidden.
And then it said indicate beast. Alright, I'm ready to move on if you guys are.
Yeah.
Oh! Something wet just dripped in my eye.
You okay?
Am I gonna get picked on?
I hope not.
Do you see it? It's all wet.
Even stories that made the newspapers of cops chasing shadow figures through this park. There was one shadow figure that the cops nicknamed the Sombrero Man. Who I've seen a sketch of him in the newspapers. And it
Was he wearing a sombrero?
he was wearing a sombrero. It was like a shadowy
Wow.
figure with a sombrero. And the cops claimed that they used to chase this guy through the park a lot.
Yeah. I heard John Earl or something.
I definitely heard John.
Yeah. Thank you. See you tomorrow.
I said thank you.
Thank you. See you tomorrow. Yeah.
Alright.
So a woman and a man is here. I couldn't tell what he said.
What's the woman's name?
You up to tits? You up to tits?
Karen? Sounds Sharon? Karen. Something in.
Yeah.
Sorry I'm late.
Sorry I'm late. Yeah. Who are you? Let's go. There's a deep man's voice of let's go.
Where are we going?
gangsters are out there. We're heading toward you guys next. Be ready.
You got it, I thought.
You got it? Okay, all right.
Can you tell us how many?
25.
There are 25. Did it say children after that?
Yeah.
I was gonna ask if they know how many total bodies are still underground in this area.
Buried around here?
Outside of the fence is what I heard.
How many people committed suicide here on the bridge? Yeah, I noticed.
Did it say? I don't know if it said sup or. What are some of your names? Can you tell us more names? More names.
More names.
How many?
Can you tell us your names?
Yeah, I heard visitors.
It honestly sounded like an Italian accent.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Too.
Yeah.
Is it one of the gangsters?
Like,
Although we're technically on the side of the Irish gang, that would have been on this side.
okay.
But they were
Yeah.
mixed in.
It, like, I don't know why, like, when that came through, I just pictured him sitting back in a chair with a cigarette in his mouth.
Yeah.
I was there once again.
Yeah. Who are you? Let us know. Who's the man with the accent? Hey.
What you doing out here?
What do you think? What do you think? Trying to capture some territory?
Which gang did you belong to?
It's the same voice that keeps
Yeah,
coming
it
through.
sounds like-
I just can't tell. Something to waste. You want us to head to the next area?
Oh, another shadow over there.
Yeah, we're going that way.
Ah, maybe it's saying
That's
yeah.
heading toward the gangster sites. Follow for us.
Was that you?
You want us to come?
It's just not my first.
It's just down the street.
All right, well, we're heading there.
Here we go. Here we go.
That was cool. Alright, yeah, we'll take a pause on that. We'll see you over there then.
Are you guys familiar with the Prohibition era here in Chicago?
Very little bit for me.
You know who Al Capone is. Mm-hmm. Okay, Capone, this was not his side of town. He was the South Side.
Okay,
That was primarily the Italian gang, was the South Side gang.
gotcha.
This would have been the Irish on this side of town. Now, I mean, they weren't all Irish in the Irish gang. They weren't all Italian in the Italian gang, but primarily that's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
The Italian gang initially was run by a man named Johnny Torrio. Well, Big Jim Colosimo first, then Johnny Torrio. Johnny Torrio is the man responsible for bringing Al Capone to Chicago from Brooklyn, New York. They both started working together in Brooklyn. That's where Capone was originally from. When he was about 19 years old, Johnny Torrio brought Capone here to Chicago. He brought him here to be a bouncer, initially in a club that he owned over on the south side called the Four Deuces. The address of the club was 2222 South Wabash. Very short amount of time, Capone becomes Johnny Torrio's #1 lieutenant, his right-hand man. Their territory was anything south of the Chicago River. They have a lot of rivals throughout the decade of the 1920s, but the main rival was on this side of town, the North Side Gang. This gang was founded and run by 4 childhood best friends. These guys grew up together in a neighborhood called Little Hell, which isn't too far from where we are right now. It was a notorious slum, Irish and Italian slum for many years. The founder of the Northside Gang was a man named Dean O'Banion. His lieutenants were Jaime Weiss, #1 lieutenant, Vinny the Schemer Drucci, #2, and George Bugs Moran was #3 lieutenant, the one who eventually lived in the apartment building back here. Now, sometimes we do get some spikes and stuff when I mention Capone, because, like I said, this is not his side of town. There might be one of the restaurants up there might let you.
Oh, I see that.
But actually, the Valentine Massacre is our last stop, so we're coming.
Okay. Sounds good. Yeah, it did spike a little bit, which is weird.
Who's with us right now?
Together. You coming with us?
We can walk together.
Whoa. Trying to see if there's any logical reason why that would be happening.
Maybe it's one of the boys coming with us.
Yeah, it said
I'd like to think so.
it said together.
Oh, yeah?
And then it said herd, HEARD.
Okay, like a whole group. Are you guys all coming with us?
If you have anything else you want to say, you can use this device to talk to us. Oh my god, I saw that.
Yeah,
Jeez.
that really spiked up.
Who are you? Did you know Al Capone? Can you light up the meter if you did? Alright, I probably should get going now.
Weird.
You guys are welcome to walk with us over there.
Hello. That drops off right there.
But this is where the Valentine's Massacre would have been.
Okay.
Right in this lot.
Explains the pain in my back.
Wow.
Nothing much here these days.
Yeah.
This is a picture of what the garage would have looked like in 1929. The garage itself did stay up here till about the year 1967.
Okay.
So it stayed up for a while.
Oh,
City was
they're
trying to
walking
get
by.
rid of all these locations that were gangster related because they didn't want to be known for that kind of history. So they started tearing them all down.
Right.
They were learning that whatever business was in here, and it was an antique shop toward the end of its days,
Okay.
nobody was coming for that particular business. They were coming because they wanted to see the still visible bullet holes and blood stains.
Yeah.
That's why the city had it torn down. But they say when it gets torn down, that people wanted bricks from this site. The bricks became like collector's items. People were paying big bucks for a brick, especially if it had blood on it or a bullet hole in it.
Wow.
But then all these stories started coming out. I've actually seen the old owner of the store company had 2 of them. Then all these stories though started coming out that people who had these bricks were experiencing weird things. They were being haunted in their homes, or they were getting in like terrible accidents, or getting horrific diseases. So people started to believe the bricks might be cursed. It was like nobody wanted these bricks anymore.
Really?
Wow.
Many people believe that this area has like a very heavy psychic imprint still over this land does. 7 men were brutally gunned down here. Still an unsolved mystery, unavenged murders. That's kind of a breeding ground for something like that.
Yeah.
This building here, I do know the owner of it. He comes down from time to time and talks to us. He's owned it for like 40 plus years. He claims that there's lots of poltergeist activity in some of the apartments.
Wow.
Things flying off the shelves,
Oh, yeah.
falling off of counters, things like that. The other side here, you have a senior citizens home. That's what that building is there. Me and Jack, who was running the conference, actually went in there and interviewed some of the people a few years ago.
Wow.
This is their property that this is on.
Okay.
Now, Lincoln Park is one of the most expensive neighborhoods in this city to live in. If they were to build a home here or a building, the land would probably easily be worth over $1 million if they were to put a house like you see on the other side of the street here. But even though this is prime real estate, the city says that nothing will ever go on this site.
Nope.
It will only be what you see.
Wow.
They've taken that address, 2122 North Clark Street, wiped it off the map as if it never even existed.